Welcome to Everywaywoman, and today we're talking about kids and having them learn to live in control of their money. I know it's early, but Stacey, I wanted to ask you a little bit about that because there's so many kids out there, you know, it just feels like they feel entitled to get money. They're like, I am, therefore give.
Exactly.
Give me.
Well,
what do you think about that? Is that a phenomenon that's going on today? Or do you think that's been the case all along?
it's not a feel, it is a truth.
Yes.
Our young people
Definitely.
are entitled, but we create that as their parents, as their guardians. We create that for whatever, and I'm going to use myself, out of guilt. I work very hard. Just coming on the set today, I told my son I have to come on set. In his eyes, you know, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, so when I leave here, I'm going to take him to Target and get him a Lego, right? Out of guilt. Does he need another Lego? Absolutely he doesn't.
Do you need to step on another Lego?
There's one mom talking.
But because of that guilt, we breathe that entitlement in them, and then we complain when they don't get the lesson. So as parents, we have to stop feeling guilty. We have to explain to them that we're doing what we have to do. We have to do what we want to today, so we do what we have to today so we can do what we want to tomorrow. Right. Take that language across to them and be okay with it, because we are creating a generation of young people who are not grateful for anything.
And they will make you feel like they're the only child in the universe that doesn't have whatever they're asking for. Believe me.
We did that.
Well,
we did.
All my friends have it.
That is long term though, because I remember, you know, when Cabbage Patch Kids were big, I did not like them. I thought they were scary and ugly. But when I went to the grocery store with my mom, I saw one of those Cabbage Patch Kids, and all my friends had it. I threw a huge tantrum, and I was like, I want it. And my mom just was like, we're not getting that. It's way too expensive. It's not going to be for us. And you know, in the back of my head, I still to this day remember, I was glad she said no, because I really didn't want it. I just wanted to fight about it.
Right.
And I think that's what parents forget. You know, there's so much stuff out there. There's so many commercials. We're bombarded with it. And you know, there's a lot of cheap things from China, so it's not that expensive sometimes. You know, what can you tell us about the pressure people feel of just buying things for kids all the time to make them happy?
Well, I don't have kids, but just from what I can gather, I do think it's pressure. Just like Asha was saying, with the technology, everything is instant gratification. So it's just like, if my friends have it, I want it right now, you know, that type of thing. But I definitely think that if you're, as a parent, setting the example, spending a lot of quality time with your children and creating a positive lesson for them, maybe showing them through chores or something that there's a positive lesson from, you know, knowing the fundamentals of getting things and how to get things or earning money and stuff like that, then I think that will help out a lot, because children look at their parents like they're heroes, you know. So if they kind of spend that quality time and I think kind of focus on the fundamentals, I think that will help alleviate the pressure, because it is a lot of pressure.
Well, I want to know what happened to, you know, years ago when kids would stay home on the weekends and they would play with their friends in the yard.
And play outside.
Exactly.
Right.
Now there are
indoor playgrounds.
That you
have to pay
for. There's annual memberships to amusement
Yes,
parks. So they're
right.
going to these amusement parks every weekend. Well, what are we going to do? Well, I thought we'd just stay home and, you know, what happened to those days where you just played with your friends? They don't have any down
Well, I think it's really important. I have a lot of friends who are new moms and they're broke and they're really fostering the, you know, let's get back to the game night. Let's get creative.
Exactly.
Not what you can do outside of your home, but
Right.
I think it's on the parent to say, there's a tree outside. Go pretend, you know,
Exactly.
this is your fort.
Exactly, but
and
the sad part
that.
is that the neighborhood isn't doing that. You know, I would hear my
We've
friends
lost-
outside playing. I would get, you know, want to go out, get my play shoes on, and I would go and play.
And
they
you're
don't
right.
have that.
We've lost community.
Yes.
We've lost the village.
Yes.
I used to play with my neighbors. My children there's no one on my street that my children know that they grew up with. And I feel responsible for that, right? Because we made mud pies, street lights would come on, make sure in the house before street
But
lights
you know
are on.
what?
So we
It's
lost
just
that.
it's up to us though to recreate it,
Right.
because you know I feel the same way. You know, I live in this community. We're really close to other people, but I don't really see people with their kids. But what I've done, you know, there's things like meetups out there, so you find other people who are looking for the same kinds of things that you're looking for. You know, it might just take a little bit more work, but that's up to us. But you know, when we're talking about a little bit more work, Holly, I wanted to ask you just about the praise that we're giving kids. You know, do we feel like we always just need to be praising kids and giving them rewards?
You mean like getting a trophy just for showing out?
Yeah, exactly.
Or giving kids money for good behavior.
Exactly.
I keep seeing that.
It
I never
makes
got
me
paid.
so upset because
Well, we're going to give you a reward for good behavior. I'm sorry to cut you off. We got to run on this, but we're going to give you a reward for good behavior for tuning back into Every Woman. We'll be right back.
That was a good one.
So welcome back, Cheryl Bender. Now, after we've gotten the resume on paper, it's time for the interview, and you are the expert on this.
I've done plenty of them. Well, I would say when you are getting ready to go to an interview, I think it's very important to do a dry run. Okay, not just practice, interview questions. Get someone to ask you some typical interview questions.
Well, what are typical interview questions we should be prepared to answer?
Well, I know that in my organization, we always ask the candidates to tell us about their education and their experience so far as it relates to the position they're interviewing for. You know, the tell me about yourself really is limited to education and experience or anything else that has help prepare you for this job. We're not asking about
I like to skydive, I like to cook.
Yeah, and don't bring drama to the interview, and don't bring, your home life and all that. They don't care about that, you know.
But now what about, let's say Michelle wasn't so obviously pregnant. What if she was pregnant, she knows it, but she's trying to get that dream job? Is that something that she needs to tell the employer right off the get-go?
Not at all. Not at all, because it's not their business. It's not any concern of theirs until that point where she's an employee. Because at that point, then yes, it will, it'll have an impact.
But for good relations,
yeah.
For good relations, would she tell them at the offer, or at what point should she tell them?
She should tell them at whatever point there's been an offer and she's accepted it.
Oh, after accepting.
Afterwards.
Now, for me, I'm not having a baby anytime soon, but I definitely may take a job that I know personally I'm not going to stay in very long. And as an employer, do you think it's fair of me to take that job and have the company invest in me if I know that maybe this isn't my career trajectory?
Not particularly. I mean, from the perspective of an employer, I would say no, but whatever you do, if obviously you have to search for a job with your self-interest at heart. So if that is in the back of your mind, then I would suggest don't necessarily share that, because that'll probably take you out of the running. But, and another reason not to share it is because you might get in there and find, oh wait, I actually really like being here. You might change your mind. So I would say, that's something you should definitely keep on the low, because that's not going to help your chances in terms of getting a job.
Well, and you don't know if the company's thinking,
That's
I'm going to
true.
keep her around for just a couple of
Exactly.
years.
That's
It's
also
happening.
That's also a possibility.
It is, to transition. I know, Sandra, you're in a position of transitioning now. Did you start in a job that maybe you weren't happy with?
Actually, I really am a big fan of internships, because when I was in school, that was the first thing I did. It brought on a great opening for a career. My first job was with CBS Television through my internship. So I really feel that that's a big, big thing for younger people.
But maybe when you're not in the internship, but you're in the interview and they ask about money, that was always been a really
It's always an uncomfortable situation to be in.
Is it better? Yeah,
it is.
Oh, I always wonder, is it better to say I'm open, negotiable, or to give them your price?
What is the right thing to say?
Well, having taken negotiating classes, the person who throws out the first number is the one who's usually going to end up on, with the shorter end of the stick. So what I would say is try to get them to give you a range they're looking to hire in. If they absolutely refuse to, give anything without you offering some information, I would say give them a range, but be prepared for whatever the lowest part of your range is. Make sure that's something you can accept, because
would they ever actually give that higher number if I say
do you
I'm
pitch your higher number?
60 grand, and knowing that they're going to say 50? Why wouldn't I just
Which
say
number
60?
do you pitch?
If you really like someone, would you bend the rules a little bit?
Well, you know what? I work for a government agency, so I can't do that.
There you go.
I have laws
you
working
just don't
in my
tell
favor.
anybody.
I have laws working in my favor to be a little bit less flexible. Okay. But I would say never give one number. Always give a range. If you have to volunteer something, give a range, and be prepared for whatever the low part of your range is. Make that a number you really are okay with.
Well, and is that something you have to back up with, what you made at a previous job or that kind of thing? Or is it just like, hey, I'd like to make $100,000 this year?
How do you put a worth on yourself?
Well, first of all, if you're at the point where you're getting ready to negotiate salary, you really should do your research, because there's plenty of search engines that will give you the salaries of comparable jobs in your area. So you should already have that kind of ballpark range in mind when you go into it. And then, of course, you don't want to sell yourself short, but you also need to look at the kind of organization that you're trying to get into, because if it's a nonprofit, then they may not have as many funds to work with.
And it's tricky too, because I've even had trouble with this, and maybe this is just a confidence issue, but pitching the number that may seem relevant, and I think, oh, I don't deserve that, and I kind of almost shy away from it.
Is that a woman thing? Is that why women aren't making the money that men are? Because, I mean, it's a considerable difference.
Absolutely.
But are we selling ourselves short here?
Absolutely. I mean, when you're in the job search and when you're going for this, you have to go for the gold. I mean, just throw out a number, throw out a range, and the worst thing they can say is no.
Right.
If they, if they want you to have that job, they'll counter. They'll
absolutely.
go back
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I really feel you have to have confidence going in, and know that you're worth it. Really psych yourself up to know that you're worth it.
I think you always have that fear that, if I pitch them a number that's too, or if I pitch them a number that's too high, then maybe they're going to go with a different candidate who doesn't want as much, or something
and knowing
like that.
what you're worth, I think it's also relevant to know what job you're able and capable of doing as well. So when you're finding jobs, for instance, online, on Craigslist or on these career builders, Monsters, and where should women look to in finding these jobs and in submitting?
Well, I'd like, it's a good idea to go back to those professional associations, because especially if you're looking in a certain field, I mean, Monster, Career Builder, those are all fine, but they have a lot of really general jobs too. And if you want to get something that's specific for your field, then it's a good idea to go to those professional associations, because they always have job listings on their websites.
How vital is LinkedIn these days?
LinkedIn is awesome. LinkedIn is awesome. I mean, LinkedIn is the business version. It's the business social media, and your LinkedIn profile can work wonders for you. And in fact, that's a piece of networking too, because not just with the business connections that you have with people, but you can also join groups on LinkedIn.
And it's appropriate to reach out and follow up.
You know what? It is, but you have to be careful of the kind of connections you try to make. Make sure that if you're reaching out to a recruiter, there's not a conflict of interest. You don't try to schmooze the person who's trying to give you the job.
And what about, is the thank yous, or how essential is it that you send a thank you letter? And should it be email or mail? You know what? Email is just too easy. You can toss one off on the phone, in the car, from your smartphone. Send a thank you note.
I think it's more memorable.
It is.
I mean, certainly if you received a thank you note in the mail, you
absolutely
treasure it.
I have every thank you note I've ever received.
Really?
Wow. I keep a file.
We'll send you one.
Well, we're going to send you a thank you note for being here. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And thank you so much for tuning in. Good luck job hunting, ladies. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back to Everyday Woman. Guess who's back? Chef Shelly, the chef to the Everyday Woman. And now, I know these are not chicken tenders for my kids, because this is a Bloody Mary inspired chicken tender, and I know Bloody Mary has a little bit of vodka, a little tomato juice, Tabasco, horseradish, Worcestershire, salt and pepper if you wish.
Right, so you're probably wondering what's going on.
So I can't give this to my kids, right?
No, I wouldn't suggest that.
Okay, all right. So tell me, why did you come up with this type of version?
We always want to know the cure for the hangover.
Okay.
Okay, and usually the main thing that they always refer to is the Bloody Mary. Okay?
Yes, they do.
It has something in it that's supposed to help cure the Bloody Mary, the hangover. So you have the vodka. So they say if you keep drinking, then your hangover goes away. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but we're going to try to put it together today.
Okay.
So we're going to do a Bloody Mary inspired dish. It's chicken fingers. And now, do you know the ingredients for Bloody Mary?
Yes, vodka, tomato juice, some Tabasco, Worcestershire, horseradish, salt, pepper, if you like.
Yes. So one of the ingredients you said was Worcestershire. So instead of using Worcestershire, I'm going to use a little A1 sauce.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, because it has a little bit of extra wine in it. It kind of gives it a little.
Oh my
twang
God,
to it.
girl, you're trying to get these people.
This is not. Just keep it going. Just don't ever stop being drunk, and then that way you don't.
I know this is not a cure for a hangover.
So we already have some, already pre-purchased chicken fingers you can buy in the store in a bag in the freezer section.
Okay.
So we're going to put this in our bowl here, and what we're doing is we're going to baste it. So we have our celery, Okay, and what I did is I just chopped up the celery a little bit and it just kind of give it a little flavor because celery is very potent.
Okay.
So it has a lot of flavor to it. We're not going to use celery seed or anything like that. I just like fresh celery.
Got it.
We're going to add a little salt.
Okay.
Okay. A little bit of pepper. And wait till you see this. We're going to open our V8, which is our tomato juice.
Okay.
And we're just going to go ahead and saturate those.
So marinating a little V8.
That's right.
I wish I had a V8.
No, what's great about it has the breading on it. So the breading is going to soak it in. Yes, absolutely. And we're going to use a little bit of our favorite vodka. So
I just don't understand how this is for a hangover. I understand how you kill two birds with one stone. You know, I have the munchies and and I have a drink, but
it's supposed to soak up the stomach acid that's in your stomach from the alcohol.
Okay.
And then apparently if you have the alcohol in your system, it kind of keeps everything going. But I don't know if that's
so you're going to cook this?
Yeah, we're going to add, let's go ahead and add this A1 sauce here.
Okay.
And the one great thing about also one of the hangover things is having a little spice to it.
Okay.
So we're going to add a little Cholula.
Yeah, I love Cholula.
I love Cholula, okay. We can also use Tabasco sauce or any other your favorite hot sauces, but I like to use Cholula.
I like Cholula. I don't like Tabasco. It has that vinegar taste to it.
So we're just going to go ahead and toss it up a little bit. Put a little bit of oil in our pan here.
So this is really simple. Another quick, fun appetizer, quick snack for, you know.
Quick snack.
This would be great for like the Super Bowl or something, you know?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, perfect. It's almost kind of like a hot wing, kind of, sort of.
Oh, it is, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
It may give me a reason to try chicken tenders.
Right.
Okay.
It's a little different. It already has your sauce on it. You know, you can also keep the sauce and make a separate sauce and dip it in there if you don't want to actually baste it.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
You know, so it's kind of like your Bloody Mary sauce.
Okay. Now, is this something you came up with?
I did, you know, because I love Bloody Marys.
I love how you come up with these simple but fun but easy recipes.
It is. It's a lot of fun. You know, you just want to do something different to something that you're used to eating all the time.
Okay.
Chicken fingers. I mean, where do you eat chicken fingers from? Everywhere.
I know. And it's not that expensive. These are ingredients you already have in your home.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you already have chicken fingers in your freezer, you just pull them out. Throw some vodka and some V8,
I have to tell you.
Here you go. You've got Bloody Mary chicken fingers.
Okay, I like it.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this on the plate here.
Now, how long does it take to cook?
If they're frozen, probably about 10 minutes.
Okay.
But since these are already thawed out, this is only about 3 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, about 3 minutes, just so you can get a little brown on it. And then we'll put it here on the plate here.
Oh my God, this is so perfect.
And then I like extra spicy, Yolanda. So I put just a tad bit of
horseradish
sauce. This is my horseradish sauce that I made.
Your recipe.
Yeah.
She's not sharing, people.
Actually, you know what? I can't even take credit for it. Actually, my fiance gave me this recipe, but it has horseradish. Oh yeah, don't you?
I could just watch.
So much easier.
Oh my God, I could sit back and just watch TV while he cooks.
It has a little mayo in it, a little ponzu and sesame, so it kind of has a little Asian flair to it. So it's definitely spicy. You got your spicy, you've got your vodka, you've got your V8 juice to keep things straight, and
got the hangover working, girl.
Hangover going on.
You know, I don't know if I believe you, but this is a great dish, and I'm really happy. Thank you for sharing it with Everyday Woman. If you want more information on Chef Shelly and these fabulous recipes, go to chefshelly.yolasite.com. We'll be right back. Thank you so much.
Welcome to Everyday Woman. Sometimes we start out our days, we're so busy, we forget to just stop and stretch. We have the fat chick, Jeanette DePatty, here to help us just slow down and stretch. What are some great stretches for us to start with?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stretches you can do, and I can show you some of those. But, I mean, it's pretty basic. Stretching is a lot about just moving your body in a way that feels good to you. And I think it's so important for us to do things that are kind to our bodies, that are nourishing for our bodies.
You know, I definitely find in the morning I feel like, I'm feeling tired, so we're rushing, you know, I'm rushing for my tea or some kind of caffeine, where I really feel like, you know, if I just stretch some of my body, I would feel more energy. Is that what a lot of people just need to do versus caffeinating ourselves so much?
Well, I mean, stretching, what it does for you is it really helps get the blood flowing and gets your circulation really amped up. And once your circulation really gets going, you feel better, you feel more energized. And I think a lot of us, we carry stress and tension in certain parts like our neck and our head and our shoulders. And just releasing some of that tension can do a lot to help you feel better. I think feeling better, you know, a lot of it is about what you decide. If you decide in the morning that you're just gonna be fabulous. People say, how are you? And I say, I'm fabulous. And I was fabulous yesterday, and I'm probably going to be fabulous tomorrow. But a lot of it is about what you decide, you know.
And that's so much of it, of just stretching your mind, basically,
really.
to really opening it up to the energy out there. But, you know, so many people feel like, well, you know, to really get a good stretch, I have to do yoga, and I have to be able to get my, you know, leg around my neck, and I'm never going to be able to do that. So what are simple ways of stretching?
Well, I could show you some stretches right now.
Sure,
you can use
let's
the
do it.
chair. That's a great way to start. So if you just get up and you take that chair, right, and turn the seat this way.
Okay.
This is no longer a chair. This is now, oh, turn it the other way.
Okay.
There you go.
So I can follow you.
Stand
Okay.
right there. Okay.
Okay.
Now it's a ballet bar.
Oh,
Okay.
perfect.
So if you just start that music, we'll do a little bit of stretching. So you just start with a little point, 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 and in looks like this. And point, and side, and back, and in. One more. Point, and side, and back, and in. Now move that chair out a little bit so you have a little more room. And you're going to turn towards the chair. And you're going to put one foot back, just like that. Great.
Just
Now-
the music itself is so happy.
I like happy music.
Absolutely.
And you want to keep your knees soft. It's really important not to lock them out, but keep them a little bit bent. And then you can lift that back heel and tuck the hips underneath. This is a hip flexor stretch all around in here. Again, keeping the knees a little bit soft. Lean on the back foot, bring the front toe up. It's a hamstring stretch. Just stick your booty on out there.
feel that one.
Yeah, that's the key. Just stick your booty
So
on
is
out.
it important to have your hand on your thigh here?
You know what? It's just a support thing. Different people like it different ways.
And with these stretches, can you do anything to hurt yourself, like maybe overstretch, or are these really just basic and simple?
You can. We're going to do a few more stretches right here in the chair. You know, if you use common sense, you can really, you'll be pretty safe. So another stretch, you can take your arm out to the side and bring it across, come underneath and pull, like that. There you go, that's good. And you want to hold each of these stretches for 10 seconds or so. You really don't want to bounce or jerk. And you just take that behind. Some people like to go like this. I don't like to do it that way, but that's key also, is that stretches should be modified to feel good to you.
What works for you?
Yes, and then you can just take your arms back. And this is a great stretch. You can do this at the office too. Just lift up, push out, down, and back.
And with stretching, I mean, with everything else, you're supposed to, you know, like, you start out slow and then you push yourself. But are you just, like, kind of hitting certain levels and you don't need to go beyond those? Or are you always trying to push it a little farther?
It really depends on what works for you, what goals are right for you. You know, it's about preparing for your body. Like, you know, a lot of people, we're in swimsuit season, right? And a lot of people are like, get ready for your beach body. I can get you ready for your beach body in 10 seconds. Are you ready?
Show me how.
Put on a swimsuit.
Oh, no.
Done.
But, you know, I have that reaction of, like, please don't make me do that. So how do you fix that?
You just do it. You just feel the fear, do it anyways.
Get over it. Well, so what are ways in which you relax? How do you relax at the end of the day?
You know what? I stretch. I take some time, quiet time, for breathing exercises and meditation. There's all different kinds of things that you can do. I look at body positive things online. There's a lot of body positive things on my website, www.thefatchick.com. And so, yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do.
Okay, well, I am sure you have a lot more tips. Thank you so much for all of those. And like she said, you can go to thefatchick.com, and we'll be back with more. Welcome to Everyway Woman. We have the Doctors of Breastlink here to answer all of your questions. We have Dr. Nimi Kapoor, June Chen, Dr. John West, and Dr. Justin West, his son. We had a lot of viewers ask us about men and breast cancer. I know it's not very common, but, you know, is that something, can men get breast cancer as well? Can you tell us, Dr. West?
Well, they certainly can. The incidence is much lower than in women, and men, unfortunately, don't take very good care of themselves. So, unfortunately, when we've seen Dr. Kapoor can comment on her experience, I know it's extensive, but they tend to let these lumps go. I would say men tend to be oblivious of their body, where women sometimes don't pay as much attention as they should. Men tend, but we've caught a couple of small cancers. We've had our primary care doctors have picked up some on mammograms with questionable lumps. Most of the lumps we see in men, though, are benign.
Okay. And is it mostly for men who are overweight, or can it be for all men?
Well, what's your experience, Nima, on this?
Yeah, it can be for all men. In general, if we see male breast cancer, it's often associated with a family history of breast cancer, often associated with genetic risk factors as well.
So because it's so rare, do you suggest that men do self-exams, or is this something that, just through going to the doctor that they're going to feel, or is it visible?
Both, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I think, it would be nice if you get men more in contact with their bodies, more analytical rather than just kind of ignoring things. But the tragedy is it's so easy to feel a change. And maybe the wives ought to participate in this. I think maybe we could have kind of a group approach here, but if the men tend just not to think about it. And so these larger cancers, when you should be able to feel a very small change in a man's breast. So I don't know if we can get them to do it, but I think this education is really important, and men out there should be aware of the fact that they are at risk and do.
Well, I think that is part of the problem, is that men are not aware that they could possibly develop breast cancer. So even if they do feel something in their breasts, they're more likely to disregard it and not think that it could possibly be breast cancer. But the truth is, everyone is born with a little bit of breast tissue. So even though male breast cancer accounts for less than 1% of all breast cancer, it's not 0%.
And so how do they get diagnosed?
Usually on physical examination, that they feel a lump, or their wife feels a lump, or the partner feels a lump, or their doctor feels a lump when they go for an annual exam.
Okay. And so at that point, then a mammogram would be suggested. Does it work the same way?
Yes, it does. Imaging is very important. The physicians ordinarily will direct their patients to imaging, and they will receive a mammogram and any additional views on the mammogram, and we would most likely go forth with an ultrasound as well.
Okay. And what are some of the symptoms that, besides the lump and feeling that, are there other symptoms that they might be experiencing that they shouldn't overlook?
Well, sometimes they're tender. Usually they're not. That's kind of the problem. But the last one that I saw was focally tender, and it was a tenderness. He kind of was aware of a little change, but it was really that he waited until it really hurt him. Most of them don't, so that's kind of the problem. It's too bad that they don't.
Occasionally, you can even see some skin changes, so that's another thing to look out for. The last male breast cancer I wasn't involved with, he had some skin change. I thought it was just a rash. So those are other important factors to think about.
Well, what are some of the statistics if a man is diagnosed with breast cancer? Are the cure rates the same?
Pretty much the same. It's stage for stage, same as with women with their stage of breast cancer.
Okay, so it's not one of those things that, once men have breast cancer, it's probably at a more advanced stage, or once it's caught for most men?
It can be slightly more advanced because, again, men are less likely to pick it up earlier. They're not typically screened as women are screened. But we still, like Dr. West said, can pick up very early smaller cancers.
Okay. Now, Dr. West, what about plastic surgery? Do men still get any kind of plastic surgery to kind of make it, not as obvious?
I think the context where it's because you're not trying to rebuild a breast for a man. If the nipple is removed, then we would talk to them about a nipple reconstruction so that they have symmetry between the two breasts, but we don't generally build a breast for a man.
Well, what if he had like a nice pectoral or anything?
Well, the mastectomy shouldn't affect the pectoralis muscle, or cancer surgeons can address that more specifically, but the idea behind the mastectomy is to take out the breast tissue, but we leave the pectoralis behind, but some skin, including the nipples, often removed. And so what you're leaving is essentially skin on top of muscle, which is what most men's breasts are. Now, they may have some fat, they may have some breast tissue, but we don't go in and rebuild a volume.
And do you do any kind of breast reduction for men?
We can. So the context where as plastic surgeons that we see men is usually in the setting of what we call gynecomastia. So Dr. Chen alluded to earlier that men frequently have breast tissue. It's not uncommon at all. So we'll get men typically we see them in their teens, and then we see them again in their 50s and 60s who come in with breast tissue who feel uncomfortable with the way they look. And so we'll reduce that tissue as a gynecomastia surgery where we take out the breast tissue, but in those situations we'd leave the nipple. In the case of a cancer, they would remove that, and then we would reconstruct it if they would want that.
All right. Well, thank you, doctors, for joining us and getting this information out to men. Go out and get your breast checked if you do have any issues. If you want more information, you can go to breastlink.com. Thank you.
Hi, ladies. We're back on Everyday Woman with fitness trainer Aldair Marquez. And today we're going to be talking about the lower body workout in terms of getting your man in shape to be that new man. So what does he need to be doing in terms of that lower body?
Squats, And deadlifts, oh my God, please, for the love, guys, for the love of God, squat and squat properly. I hate seeing guys out there that are in the squat rack one doing either curls or something that is not a squat. Squat, they're the biggest muscles in your body.
Those are these ones, right?
Yep,
or something?
squats.
Okay.
You have the weight on your back or either on your front. Front squats are actually a lot better for you as well. But they use your biggest muscles in your body. What is it? Coming down and up, and you lift more weight. And that's going to be better. That's going to be very, very important because then it triggers your body to produce more testosterone. More testosterone means what? Building muscle. It's what you want to do, right? Building muscle or gaining lean mass. And that's going to help you lose that weight as well. So again, squats, for the love of God. Stop working on your chest and back, please. Squat and deadlift, for the love of God. Again, squats are simple. Hands out, down, back up. What is it? You want to keep good posture. Core is always tight. And the thing that's always important as well is your warm up. You want to warm up. It used to be convention that you stretch it, you hold it, come down, touch your toes. Not anymore. Actually, if you do that, you actually decrease your ability to produce force. You're not as strong if you keep stretching consistently. You think about it in terms of a rubber band. You stretch that sucker out a lot of times, it's never going to come back to that same spot. So what you do is dynamic warm-ups. You do stuff like jogging, get your blood flowing. You want to raise the temperature up a little bit. That way you become more loose, you become a little bit more natural. But I keep my program simple. Like I said, it's one day I squat, next day I deadlift or do an RDL. RDL is Romanian deadlift, stiff-legged deadlift. I teach it with a slight knee bend. You're here, bend your knees slightly, and just all hips. You drive them back, reach back, good posture, core is tight, everything's nice and tight, and you just reach back with your hips. You come back, and you bring it right back over here. Again, you're trying to drive your hips behind you as far as you can. Reach, come right back up. Using the hamstrings, using your butt. You want to get that booty? Gotta do some RDLs. You gotta get some deadlifts in. Right. You want to get your squat, get yourself loaded up. Front squats, like I mentioned earlier, are a lot better for you only because they have you engage your core that much more. When you do back squat, guys tend to go heavier. Form goes to worse. So front squatting, make sure that you keep that proper posture. All front squats mean is that weight is in front of you.
Okay, because it's usually behind,
yeah, exactly.
Right? Okay.
Every guy knows how to do a back squat, and they'll always do this. They'll go here, they'll load really heavy, they'll go down about an inch, and they come right back up. Yeah, I squatted 500 pounds. No, you didn't. Squat means you're coming down, butt is at least parallel to the knee, and then you come right back up. That's a squat. Okay. You want to talk about a deep squat, you come all the way down. They say ass to the grass. That's what it's called, ass to the grass. Squats, that's really good. It develops everything. Key there, though, is making sure you have the range of motion. If you have injuries, ankle or knee, you should not be going there. You go through the range of motion that you don't have pain. Discomfort is different from pain. If it hurts, if there's pain, don't do it around the knee or the hip or the ankle. Don't go that low. Restrict the range of motion until you can get that strength. But if it's uncomfortable, if it burns, do it. Don't be a punk. Do it. Then from there, like I said, I keep it really simple. Squats, deadlifts, or RDLs. And then other single leg exercises, lunges. I don't like lunges. They're my least but favorite exercise to do. What is it? And all it is, if you want to regress it, you open up your stance here, 1 foot out in front, 1 foot behind, go down and up. It's a squat because you're not moving. Add a movement to it, it's a lunge. Go forward, right there, lunge, nice and easy. Grab some weights, put them next to your side, put them up here up top. Up top's a little heavier, just like you would in a front squat. Or you can take it back, and if it's a little bit hard for you to go forward, go back. Nice, easy lunge backwards. It's a little bit easier. Less movement.
And what's the average, maybe like lunges and squats he should be doing? Like,
again, all depends on goal. If you're trying to lose some weight, go body weight for a while, and do maybe three to four sets of 10 to 12 reps. Okay. Again, the rep range and everything else is going to be very dependent on what your goal is. A very good site to go to is tnation.com.
T-Nation?
Yes, tnation.com. Right there, they have something that's called the Perlipin Square of Hypertrophy or Weight Loss. That right there will tell you what your rep ranges are, and that you'll get a better idea of what you want. What is it? But something that's very, very important as well is making sure you go lateral. Everybody's always here. Everybody's always what's called a frontal plane. Sorry, not frontal. Sagittal plane. This way here. They're always moving in here. Very few people go sideways. So lateral lunge. Something that I always do as well. I do it myself. I have my clients do it. If not that, one of the toys that people that train with me get this little thing right here. Looks like a simple rubber band. Call it the black band of death. Use it to go sideways. So you're here, adds tension. This engages your butt. Squat position, little steps right here. Do this for 20 steps.
I like that.
Butt's on fire. If it's not burning, you're not doing it right.
And I can tell it's working because you're sweating.
Yeah, exactly. I've done maybe 5, 10 squats. I'm already sweating. But very, very key thing also is the cool down. Afterwards, if you're trying to lose a little bit of weight, hit the treadmill for a little bit, or hit a little bit of cardio for about 15 to 30 minutes. Foam rolling becomes very
okay. Well, we're going to talk about this in the next time when we come back with more at Every Way Woman. And if you like more information, check out everywaywoman.com. Thanks for tuning in.
Welcome back to Every Way Woman, and we are honored to have Sherry Kinnison. She is a breast cancer survivor. Thank you for being here, Sherry.
So glad to be here.
Well, can you just walk us through what it felt like when you got your initial diagnosis and just the fear that you felt?
Well, you know, for every woman, the fear is overwhelming. You almost become into panic. It puts you into that panic mode of life because you don't have no knowledge. I mean, I had no knowledge of breast cancer or anything when I was diagnosed. So for you to be told you have breast cancer, your first initial reaction is, oh my God, I don't want to die. And all I wanted to do was raise my daughter. So that's where the panic sets in. And I was sent to a doctor for the first diagnosis by my gynecologist. And I was so upset by the doctor and just her whole demeanor, and I walked out and said I won't go back there. Hence, this is how I came to BreastLink, and thank God.
Completely different experience.
Totally different experience. You know, you walk through the doors, and Dr. West hugs me, and you know, but he sits down and he talks to you and explains everything. And for me, I'm the kind of person that has to have everything explained to me. I wanted to know everything I would go through, and you know, I probably was his most difficult patient.
I know that.
Did you have any genetic risk factors? Did you have any family members that were
I
affected
had no
by this?
family members.
So
my mom is 85, you know, and she's great shape. My aunt, all of my family. So
you were never, you knew nothing about breast cancer.
Knew nothing at all about it.
Had you done any kind of self-exams or anything like that?
I did, and you know, I did miss 1 year. I was so faithful with my mammograms. My brother had gotten killed in 2002, and it was just a year of, you know, real
a lot going
stress,
on.
a lot going on. Yeah. So I missed 2003, and in 2004 I had my mammogram, and there it was. So, ladies,
you were so diligent.
Be aware. Yes.
Now, you went through the process. How did you handle once you got the diagnosis and went to BreastLink? How did you, after your treatment, handle some of the side effects and all the other things that you go through?
You know, once Dr. West got me calmed down and made me realize, you know, we're here to help you and we can help you. Then, you know, you change your mind. You have to get into that mind thought of, okay, I can do this. This is a journey, another bump in the road, and we're going to get through it. So, you know, you put yourself in the position of, okay, this is what has to be done. I want to live. So this is the steps we take. And, you know, we're so fortunate at BreastLink because everything is right there. You know, Dr. West is right there with the surgery of, for your taking out the cancer. And then you've got Dr. Link right there with the oncology and, you know, the mammograms and all of the MRIs. Everything is done right there. So you don't have to run around from place to place, and that takes a lot of stress out of it for you also, because it's very stressful to begin with to have to go get all these tests, and you know, you're right there in one place. So once I settled down and realized I had somebody here with knowledge that knew what they were doing and they were going to get me through it and I was going to survive, I was okay.
Well, you almost feel bad for all of the other patients that have to go into other facilities and they don't have that same structure and that warmth and that support.
It is. I feel sorry for, you know, women that aren't as lucky as we are. I mean, and now we have a group of, they're called BreastLink Angels, that are supporters that go in with Dr. Kapoor or Dr. West with newly diagnosed patients, where we can hold their hand through the whole process. And I don't know any other place that has that too. And that is a real help to women. I know just before Christmas, I went in with Dr. Kapoor and talked with the patient. And she wanted answers. How will I feel, you know, when I sit down in that chemo chair? How will what happens when I have surgery? And, you know, it makes a big difference when they do have someone there they can be one-on-one with that has been through it.
Because that, you can't replace that experience for anything, and that confidence that you can get through it, because there is such a good survival rate. And, you know, there are some reoccurrences, but, you know, it's important too, I'm sure, to stay diligent on once you've recovered,
Yeah, just by being aware, you know, and doing your own, you know, early detection it just saves lives now. We know so much more.
Right. Well, we thank you so much. You are a survivor, and we celebrate you, and we thank you for sharing your story with others to know that they can be strong and get through this as well.
Thank you.
And for more information on BreastLink, you can go to their website at breastlink.com.
Everyway Woman has the spotlight on Katie Kiewit. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So first of all, Katie, I want to say you have an amazing voice. I heard two.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I heard two of your songs, "Orphans of God" and "Holy is the Lord."
Mm-hmm.
I just want to ask you what inspired you to either write or choose "Orphans of God." It really, really resonated with me.
I didn't actually write them. They're both cover songs.
Oh.
I specifically chose "Orphan of God" because I really feel that there's a I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
No, it's okay. It spoke to you.
Yeah.
And that just says so much about who you are as an artist and a gospel singer and as a woman who is hands-on in her charity. I know Holly was really interested in that as well.
Absolutely. Your charity concerts, the benefits that you've done for families in Africa, that was just so inspiring, and what a great gift to be able to give. People all over the world. So that's fantastic.
What was it like to just go to Africa and be so hands-on and so involved in these donations?
I actually got the opportunity to go up country and travel, and like it took 8 hours to drive all the way up there, and it was like some of these kids have never seen a white person, some of them have never seen them with red hair, so it was really exciting to see just how they responded to even just seeing me, and then meeting me in person, like they were really timid and shy and kind of taken back that somebody would come all this way to see them, and the fact that I was able to raise funds to specifically go there and hand them cash because they were in like such an immediate need. I mean, these were people that were living in shacks with, you know, sticks.
Now, were you able to sing for them too? Did you have
No, not as like a concert or anything, but I was able to just, you know, hand them cash and help their immediate needs.
All the funds that you raised.
Well, thank you for having such a generous heart for being here today, and we're so excited that you're here to sing for us today. So
Thank you.
please, we'd like to introduce your song.
Okay. This is called "Orphans of God."
Oh.
Yay.
We fall down, we lay our crowns at the feet of Jesus. The greatness of his mercy and love at the feet of Jesus. We cry, holy, holy, holy. We cry, holy, holy, holy. We cry, holy, holy, holy is the Lamb. And we fall down, we lay our crowns at the feet of Jesus. The greatness of his mercy and love at the feet of Jesus. We cry, holy, holy, holy. We cry, holy, holy, holy. We cry, holy, holy, holy is the Lamb. Ooh, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
That was really wonderful. So where can we find you next and hear more of your great music?
I have my own website. It's katiekiewit.com. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Google, everywhere.
We will like you on everything and love you for
Awesome.
always. Thank you so much
Thank
for being
you.
here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Stay tuned for more Every Way Woman. We'll be right back.
This has been an Every Way Woman production.